I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Sustain Your Passion. So today I'm going to talk with you about this new tool that's out there called ChatGPT. You've maybe heard of it before, but if you haven't, this is going to be an intro, and I'm going to talk to you about how I use it in my coaching business and how you might be able to use it to help you automate some of your content creation as a new coach. So we don't want to be inauthentic, right? When we're sharing in our online coaching business and on our social media pages, our goal is to connect with our ideal clients. So that means we need to be sharing our real lived experiences, our stories, our insights, our tips, our lessons, and really being clear that we used to be exactly in their shoes. We know what they're struggling with, and we can help them get out of that place that they're at because we've pulled ourselves out of that situation too. So if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know about using automation like AI, artificial intelligence, any kind of resistance to that, I just really want to encourage you that the way I'll explain how you use it today is with the intention and the expectation that you are still the driving force behind the strategy of what you're talking about and what your topics are and the type of content you're sharing, and making sure it relates to your ideal client and your coaching program. And I'm going to show you how ChatGPT specifically can be used to help you amplify your voice, amplify your message, and get out more content so you get in front of your ideal client more often. So these are the 5 tips I have for you about how to use ChatGPT to automate your content creation for your online business. So it's for social media, but also other things, as you'll see. So the first idea is to generate blog post concepts with ChatGPT. So if you go to ChatGPT, which just Google this, like it's a free software online. So it's just a website, or you can get like the app on your phone, but just Google ChatGPT and then it'll open it up. And once you're on the site, you can talk to it like it's a robot, but like a person behind it, right? Like it's conversational, but you're talking to a robot. So you're talking to like Google, basically. If Google was like personified, it's like that. So if you wanted to come up with some blog post ideas, or sometimes I'll do this for podcast ideas, like if you're looking for general ideas in your niche, ChatGPT can be so helpful. So what I would type in on ChatGPT if I was looking for help generating blog post ideas or podcast ideas is I would tell ChatGPT, I'm a XYZ type of coach, so fill in your type of coaching. That means I help describe your ideal client, do what, so fill in what your niche is, and I need 3 or 5 or whatever, give it a number, blog post ideas or podcast post ideas. Tell me the top 5 posts in this niche for 2023. And then from that list, I'm going to curate down what my ideal clients would most want to hear about next. And that can be where you're just getting help brainstorming, like what are my ideal clients in need of? Or what's the most popular blog topic out there right now that my client might be finding that somebody else is putting out there that I could create with my own insight and lessons and brand around it. So that's one approach. You also can say like, what are 5 really quick to answer questions in my niche, and then fill in details about your niche. Or like, what are questions that I could answer on a podcast to help, and then fill in your niche. So it's just a good place to like brainstorm blog or podcast post ideas. And then from there, to take it further, you could even like ask it to write you a blog and in one of those topics. So once it gives it to you, say like, okay, write me a 300-word blog post with the focus being for, and then fill in your ideal client on the topic of, and then paste in the topic you liked the most from the ideas it gave you before. And you could even go a step further and say, and write it in the tone of, and then pick a character from a movie that you think you sound like or talk like, or a really popular celebrity. Like sometimes I'll ask it to like write it in the voice of Elle Woods because I think I kind of sound like Elle Woods sometimes, or like Miss Congeniality. So whoever you think you might sound or talk like. I've also done like Lorelai Gilmore and it's really fun. And then of course you still have to like read back through it and edit it and make it sound like you and make it, feel personal to you. So it's not that it's going to erase your entire responsibility of like picking out blogs or writing blogs or creating podcast ideas, but it's going to help you brainstorm and like get a first draft down, which is so helpful if you're feeling like any type of writer's block or just feeling like, I don't know what to post, or if you have a million ideas and you don't know how to narrow it down. So that is the first tip, is you can use ChatGPT to help generate blog or podcast topic ideas. So the next strategy is you can actually use it to write your social media posts. So let's say you know that you want to share about a certain concept that your ideal client might be struggling with, or, that you teach about in your program and you coach your clients on. So you could go to ChatGPT and say, write an Instagram post for, and then fill in about your ideal client, about, and then fill in the topic. And again, you could tell it to write it in a certain tone, or you could say like in less than 5 sentences, or whatever. You can ask like for hashtags too. So you can literally just tell it like, this is my idea I want, write it for Instagram. Or you could say, write it for a TikTok script, or write it for a Facebook post. And it's going to change the style that it's writing that content in for you. And then you can even ask it like, what would be a good image to pair with this? And it might give you some ideas of what you could go do. Either to take a picture of yourself or like look back through your photos, or create a little image like in Canva with some words on it, or whatever feels right to you. So there's still this back and forth and like curation of your content that you have to do, but ChatGPT can save you so much freaking time if you know how to prompt it for appropriate like feedback and help. So hopefully if you're like, man, I really struggle with social media posts, like this is giving you a new idea about how you could leverage ChatGPT, which is totally free, to start writing your posts for you. And another thing you can do is like, if you have a post that did really well in the past, you can copy that into ChatGPT and say, analyze the tone of this post and write 3 more just like it on this, and this topic. So it's actually going to write like you, which is so freaking cool. Like you can give it an email or something that you wrote that you were like, this was really good, and then ask it to analyze that tone and then write more content for you like you would. It's brilliant, but you're still engaging in like the curation of what topics and like guiding it and all of that. And of course, you never want to post it without reading through every line and making sure it feels like accurate, and maybe changing some stuff to include like personal anecdotes or stories or words you would use, and making it more personalized. But it can seriously save you so much time and be written in your voice and tailor to your niche and your market. So the third strategy is drafting email campaigns, the whole campaign. So you can ask ChatGPT to write you a subject line. So let's say you know what you want to email your list about. You can say, I'm writing an email to, and then insert details about your ideal client, about, and then tell it the topic. Write me a very highly openable or like very attractive subject line for this email, and keep it no longer than 4 words. And sometimes it will, like if you don't add the no longer than 4 words or whatever, it might give you a longer email subject line than you like. So like personally, I really like short subject lines for my emails. And what's cool is it has a working memory where like if it tells you a 10-word long email subject line and you want to shorten it, you can just say shorten that email subject line, and it will synthesize down what it said to a shorter version. And then if you don't like one of the words, you can be like, swap out this word, and it will keep working with you and refining it in a collaborative way, which is like mind-boggling to me that a computer can like hold your working memory. Like, it's just so cool that it can like continue refining with you. So even if it pumps out like an email draft that you don't love at first, like maybe you need to tell it to write it in a different tone, or you need to tell it to write it shorter or something like that to make it more personalized, or add your own story at the beginning or a conclusion at the end or something like that, so that even if it's drafting like just the subject line, you can edit that and make it nice, make it fit better for you and your brand. But also it can write your whole entire email. And I said email campaigns, right? So what I mean by that is like, if you wanted to ask ChatGPT to write you a series of multiple emails that sell your new offer, you could do that. So there is so much information out there, right, about how to write and sell via email, like your coaching offer or your new workshop or whatever. Like, tell it what you're trying to sell and ask it to write you an email campaign, and it will pump out like multiple emails for you that you can then just copy and paste into your email marketing platform and get out there. It's so freaking cool. Okay, the next idea I have for you is that you can actually use ChatGPT for creating lead magnets. So once you know who exactly you help and what you help them with, you can go into ChatGPT and say, I'm a XYZ type of coach. So like, I'm a business development coach. I help new coaches develop their first $1,000 offer and make their first 10K in sales. What would be the best lead magnet for me to offer to get new coaches like this that I could serve on my email list? And it will give you a list of ideas. And then if you're like, oh, it's giving me a bunch of like PDF type ideas, I really want like a workshop idea, you can tell it like in a second message, after it just gave you that first round of ideas, actually, what would these look like if they were all workshops or ebooks or something else? So you can keep going back and forth until you get exactly what you want from it in the format you want, so that you can create a really high value resource that you could trade for people signing up for your email list and be nurturing those leads that need an answer to a problem you can help them solve. And that's how you get them into your email list, is by delivering that lead magnet that ChatGPT helped you write. And what's so cool is that it's based off of like all the information on the internet. So it will go and find like your competitors and find out what they're giving away as their lead magnets, and then pitch you ideas. So rather than you having to go and do all that market research to see like what's your competition doing, or like going and doing market research with your ideal clients and asking them what they need, like ChatGPT is literally manipulating all of that knowledge into an answer that is conversational to you for free online. It's freaking brilliant. And then from there, once you know what the lead magnet is going to be, you can go and create it. So that saves you a ton of creation time and like generating ideas for it. But if you did do something like a checklist or a worksheet or ebook, like something that could be put into like a Word document or a PDF, like you could still ask ChatGPT to give you a rough draft, to give you a version of that resource that then you could go paste into Canva or into like Google Docs or something and edit it and brand it and make it in your voice. But you could have something to work off of rather than starting with like a blank paper and feeling overwhelmed by like, what lead magnet do I give out and how do I create it? Like, ask ChatGPT at least to help get you started, because there's always going to be things that it can't do, right? As a coach, like, your value is your story and your lived experience and overcoming blocks that you can sprinkle into all of these different resources I've mentioned, whether it's social media posts, blogs, podcasts, lead magnets, like all of it can still have you and your voice and your value as a coach added to it. But you can save so much time by getting started using ChatGPT for your rough drafts. So the last idea I have for you, number 5, is to generate video scripts. So if you are someone who's like, I post all the time on Instagram with pictures, but I know I want to be posting more reels so I can get more reach through reels, or maybe you're killing it on Instagram in general, but you want more leads, and so you're thinking like, maybe I could use TikTok and find more people on TikTok and bring them over to my Instagram account, but I don't know what to say. You can ask ChatGPT to write you highly engaging short scripts for TikToks or for Instagram Reels tailored to your niche, like your ideal clients and what you do for them. And it will give you word for word, sentence by sentence, exactly what you could read into a video. Now, I don't recommend that you actually read it verbatim, but you could even, like, if you can memorize it line by line, you can just record yourself line by line saying it and then cut it together to make a TikTok or a reel of you, like, memorizing one sentence and then speaking it. But I don't think you need to do it like that exact. What I would actually do is say, like, write me the script, and then personally I like to just like flow off of the topic. So I would probably say, give me an outline on this topic so that then I could go and like hit the key points, but make it like in my voice and in my style. Or I might ask it to give me questions. Like, I find that I have a really hard time just like coming up with topics for content, which is why I use ChatGPT, for example. But if I ask it to give me a question that then I can go answer that question in a video, I am way more likely to just like flow and make it and feel less self-conscious about what I'm recording because I had a question that I'm responding to. So for me, I would say, like, give me this is my niche, give me 5 questions that I could make a TikTok answering. And then I would just pick one of those. And then that would be what I record for that day's TikTok. And then I would have the other 4 for the rest of the week or whatever. Which I think is pretty cool. Like, I just love that it can give you so much support in deciding like what type of content you could make. And part of this is like, it's automating your content creation time by putting artificial intelligence into it. So it's saving you a crap ton of time, but also it can automate it in that if you know that you want to post on TikTok and Instagram every single day for the rest of the month, like, go ask ChatGPT to write you a content strategy for the rest of the month based on your niche and the topics you teach in your coaching program and what exactly you do. And it will give you a curated strategy. And then you can work off of that and be like, oh, I don't like this part, change it this way. And then go back and forth with the chatbot until you have a strategy you love. And then that saves you so much time for the entire rest of your month. Because rather than every day or once a week even trying to sit down and think about, like, what type of content should I make today, you already have a bank of ideas and a whole strategy outlined based off of literally all the information on the internet. So it's not just like you coming up with the ideas. It's like, it's just so freaking smart and it saves you so much time. And that is automating your process so that you aren't every day sitting down and brainstorming for 20 minutes. What should I post? You already have that planned out and you can keep sprinkling in like your personality and your details and your stories and your offers and your coaching program so that people that are engaging with your content don't see it as just like, a robot that wrote something for you. Like, it's actually tailored and specific to them, and it still sounds like you, which I think, like, probably my favorite tip out of all of these is to ask ChatGPT to analyze your voice and tone based off of something you've written before. Like, that is so freaking cool to me, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll just like do that, right? And say like, analyze this email for tone and style or whatever, and then I'll ask it to write more content, and it sounds exactly like me. It's spooky. So once you have some content that's like done really well and resonated with your ideal clients, or that you really love, that really sound like you, like, ChatGPT can mimic you, and that benefits you so much as a coaching business owner, because creating content is a big part of finding new leads, and you constantly need to be finding new leads to invite into your marketing funnel and nurture and get to know, and then invite into your programs. And so social media content is a great way to network with new people. But if you're spending a ton of time and effort trying to figure out how to grow your social media accounts, or how to write your emails or create videos or whatever you're trying to do with your content, like, use ChatGPT to save time. And It is a free resource. Sorry, I said that weird. It's a free resource. You cannot break it. It is totally free to access and it's super accessible. It's really simple to use. And if you have any questions, please let me know because I'm a big fan and I love poking around in this tool and find it super helpful for all of these reasons and a bunch more. Like, there's so many personal ways to use it too, for like, how do I write a letter to this, like, I've not actually personally had to do this, but like I've seen people do this to like their landlord or whatever. Or I'll ask it sometimes. It was so cool. We went out to the Oregon coast and we were bringing our dogs, and the town we were going to is super tiny. It's Cannon Beach. It's like gorgeous. It has Haystack Rock. And if you've ever seen the Goonies, like part of it was filmed there when they have like the little key with the little rocks like jetting out of the ocean. But it's a super sleepy little town. And being that we were traveling with our dogs, I asked it to plan me a 2-day itinerary for vacationers with 2 dogs that like hiking and driving tours. And it told me like very specific tasks I could go do and like ideas of things we could do and restaurants we could go to that were dog friendly. It was so cool. And then I asked it, like, give me the hours of all these places. And it followed up with that information because it was carrying that knowledge still. So unlike Siri, where you can be like, Siri, tell me where this place is. But then if you ask Siri, like, how late are they open? It doesn't always remember like what you were talking about before in your previous request. ChatGPT does, which is like its working memory capabilities being so freaking cool to me. So it feels like you're talking to a person, but you can just save so much time. So if you have been curious about this, if you've heard like AI is coming or AI is bad or good or whatever people are trying to scare you about, but you've been curious to try it, I really hope that this episode just gives you some ideas, encourages you to go play around on it. And even if you don't use it right away in your content creation strategy, like just go try analyzing your own voice. Like go copy in something you've written and like paste it into ChatGPT and have it analyze your voice, because that alone can help you see like what your style is and a bit more about your brand, which then will help you just feel more confident in like who you are and what your brand voice is. And then, tinker around with it if you want a shopping list or you want tips on, a travel itinerary or whatever. There's just so much it can do. So hopefully this was helpful in giving you some ideas and resources to support your content creation, but also get you to try out ChatGPT because it really is a freaking awesome resource. And I just really hope that it never goes away or gets put behind a paywall because it is incredible and so helpful and it's free. So give it a try. If you have questions, find me on social media to let me know. And if you know that it's time for you to create your coaching program, but you don't know how to get started, you're not sure what your niche is, you're not sure what to include or how to deliver the program, what to price it, how to market it, all those details, including how to actually close sales as a coach, you would love my signature program, Passionate Paychecks, which there's more information on my website about. So I'll just leave that there with you. If you've been curious about working with me, please let me know. And if money is the reason why we're not working together, make sure I know that, because I do offer like scholarships and pay what you can resources and things like that. So I always want to make sure that if you have a dream of starting your own coaching business, that I can help you, whether it's with free content or paid and like other ways of encouragement or teaching or lessons that I can offer you. Just please let me know. I really do want to help you get your voice out there and your coaching program launched, because I think the world needs more coaches. Like, we literally heal so many people through our work for all sorts of different things, and we help liberate people from their negative self-beliefs and their limiting ways of living that really help the world live a more free and happy life, like, which I think is good for the planet, which, is my cheesiness, but I think that the work of coaches is super freaking important. So if you are struggling to get your program launched, you want to start your own coaching business, but you're not sure how, make sure I know that you're interested in working together, and just reach out to me on social media so I can help you however I can. All right. Thanks for listening to this episode. Hope it was helpful, and I'll be back next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.